This is part one of a two-part transferring 101 training that I'm going to give y'all. So the very first thing you need to do is decide you want to transfer. And this is probably not something you should do on a whim unless you are in a state that has suddenly become incredibly toxic in its transfer period and you can't risk waiting. An example would be if a tyrant well moves into your state and you have to move out quickly. So I always recommend that, because that can happen, right? That you every week come here to the Alliance shop and buy a transfer pass. And it's usually, for me, it's always in the middle, and it ranges between 100 Alliance tokens and 125 Alliance tokens for me. For this account, it's 100,000. I said 100. It's 100,000 Alliance tokens. For my other account, it's 125. And I'm not 100% sure why it's more expensive for my smaller account, but it is. So every week, I recommend you come in and buy a transfer pass so you always have enough passes in case you have to jump quickly. So do that even if you are like, I love my state and I can't imagine ever leaving it. Always buy transfer passes and make sure you have enough transfer passes for the size of your account. And the way you can see how many transfer passes you would need is during the transfer event, you come up to the events button up here in the top right, and you click it, and you can see where it says state transfer, and then it has the UTC dates of transfer, which is July 19th through July 25th. And then right below that, it says transfer costs. And right now, mine has a 0 because I just transferred to a new state and I used all 35 passes that I had, because that's how many passes I needed in order to transfer to a new state. So on Sunday, the very first thing I'm going to do after, well, I guess technically it would be Monday reset, the very first thing I'm going to do is go in and buy another transfer pass, because as you can see, I need 35. That means if I only buy them from the Alliance shop, it will take me 35 weeks to save up enough transfer passes for me to transfer again. And that's assuming I don't grow. The stronger you grow, the more passes you need. So it's important that you start saving passes. And even if your current level is you only need 8 passes and you get 8 passes, don't stop buying passes just because you have as many as you need right now, because at some point you're gonna grow and you're gonna need a lot more passes. Okay, so right now we are in open transfers, which means you do not have to have an invite. And so you can see here it says phase 3 transfer opens. So there are 3 phases in the transfer process. The first few days are no invites go out, nobody can transfer. It's kind of shut down, and it's just giving you an opportunity to go in and look at the states in your transfer section. Now, I recommend that you start deciding on a state well before this period opens, because I do recommend you do some research before you decide to transfer. But this kind of gives you an idea of all of the states so these are all the states that are in my current bracket. My bracket right now is really big. So I can transfer as low as 287, 2877. That's as low as I can go. And then I can go, and brackets are not usually this big, right? This is a particularly big bracket because we all have Gen 6. And I could go as high as 3246. So that is how big my current bracket is. I could go to any of those states. But like, I can't decide today that I'm going to go to 3246 next month, because next month 3246 is likely not going to be in my bracket. So there are ways that you can find out what people will be in your bracket, and you just go to Google, you type in WOS transfer groups, and there are some tools. So you can see here this list the upcoming transfers, and it gives you the transfer groups and what states it in. But this is only released shortly before the you can see it was released on July 17th. So that's not really helpful. That gives you like a couple of days notice, but that's not really super helpful. But there is Heaven's Guardian, which does have, they project out. So if you come here and you come to the Heaven's Guardian webpage, they do, and I'm scrolling trying to find it. So this is the straight transfer groups, and this is updated, but they also have the potential state transfer groups for next time. So if I was going to try to transfer next month, I couldn't transfer this month, but I was like, I want to transfer next month, I would come here to heaven-guardian.com, and I would look and see who they project to be in my group next time. And so I go down and I find my state and see I'm in between 29.95 and 33.84. So they project that I will be in this group. Can y'all see that? 29.95, 30. So right now I'm in 30.38. So if I want to leave 30.38, I would be able to go to state 29.95 all the way up to state 33.84. This is a projection, so there is a chance I might not be able to do that. So, it's important to remember that until the Whiteout Survival officially releases the transfer brackets and the groups, it's not guaranteed, right? So, but this is, they're usually right. They have a pretty good idea. And again, the name of that website is, and I don't know if you can see that, heavenguardian.com. heaven-guardian.com. / Whiteout Survival. But again, I just Googled it, right? So, Whiteout Survival, State Transfer Groups 2026. It's kind of lengthy. I just suggest Googling it and looking for Heaven Guardian's page and then scrolling down. And I will try to remember to put that, I'll try to remember to put that link in my comments. Okay, so that's how you can look and plan ahead. So I look and I say, you know what? I really think, where is, you know what? Banana Nation, that sounds like someplace that I would blend really well. Like, I feel like Banana Nation is my kind of place. Now, I'm not going to just transfer to Banana Nation because it's a risk. If you just transfer to Banana Nation, you might get there and you might be like, oh, these people are terrible, right? Like, I thought they would be fun because their name is Banana Nation, but really it's because they're all bananas and they're crazy, and I'm not enjoying myself. So here's what you do. You come up to the very top of your screen to the settings button and you click the settings button. Next, you click on characters. And then you click new character and you type in the state code for the state you're interested in. So it was 3075, right? I think it was 3075. That's what I think, Banana Nation, it's important you remember. It's not as important for me right now. You know what? And I'm actually going to do 3108 because I've been thinking about putting a little farm there. Some of my friends are there. So I think I'm going to go ahead and go to 3108 and I'm going to put in a little farm. So now I'm creating a new character in state 3108. And so it's starting over. And then here it goes.
Slow down. The snow is too thick.
Look,
And if you play the game, you've seen all of this before, and so you are familiar with all of this, right? You are familiar with how this works, and you go through the process, and you have to rebuild up a city. And I'm going to skip as much as possible. As soon as we're done building some of the initial stuff, I will be able to stop it and I will take you to some place where I've already built it up enough. But I do have to wait until, we pass this initial part. So what you're going to do is you're going to build up your state enough so that you can open world chat. And then you're going to go into world chat and you are going to read what's being said in world chat. From your own state that world chat really gives you a good idea of the kinds of things that are happening in your state, how people treat each other, how welcoming people are, whether there are people that are talking poorly about others, that kind of thing, right? Like it tells you all of the things. Okay, so now I'm going to come here and I'm going to go ahead and rename myself because I don't like it when it's Lord whatever. So let's think of we're going to be Rebby. Okay, so I've renamed it. I'm going to continue to build this up, but we're going to use the magic of Whiteout Survival, and we're going to pop to a character that I've already built up. And you can see that this is at Furnace 6, so I have access to World Chat. And so I am able to go in and read World Chat, and I can get a really good idea of who these people are and how they treat people and that kind of thing. And you're going to want to do that because you don't want to just transfer to a state. If you are trying to transfer to a state where you really think you're going to love it and that it's going to be a good place for you, you don't want to just transfer willy-nilly, right? You want to go someplace that's good. And this gives you a really good idea. Now, if you want to be really thorough, you could build up your furnace far enough that you could go in and join an alliance. And that, if you build your furnace up, I think it's 15. When is it? Yes. You have to be level 15 to enter World Chat, but you can build it up to 15 and then you can comment in World Chat like, hey, I'm interested in moving to your state. Can I join an alliance to see what it's like? And then you can join that alliance and chat with the people and kind of learn who they are and learn about them. And that's what I suggest that you do before you ever make the official transfer move. Now, obviously, there are going to be times when there's a tyrant that's moved in, they're burning your city, you have to make a decision on the fly, and you won't have the opportunity to do this level of research. but I strongly encourage you to do this level of research when you have the ability to do that. So that wraps up part 1 of Transfer 101. In part 2, I'm going to go over what you do when you have decided to make the transfer and how you go about making the official transfer. And there's 2 ways to make a transfer, and that's either through an invite or through open, and I'm going to talk about both of those in the next installment of this series.